So, we're going to speak Spanish or English. English, better for everybody? Better? Yeah? So, we are a collective of artists from Cuba. My name is Arema Arega. He's David.
My name is David the Omni. I am a Cuban musician, a censor artist in Cuba, and nice to meet you.
My name is Wichy. I'm a DJ and producer. So I have been 20 years playing music and producing music in Cuba and creating collective of musicians and artists in general.
Well, I don't know if you can listen well with the mic. It's okay? It's okay? It's better? This is a good one. So, as I say, my name is Arema Arega. I'm a singer, songwriter, music producer, filmmaker, fashion designer. And I was invited here to play music, but at the end, we're going to be here expressing ourselves, and you can ask questions about the Cuba that we know. I live in Barcelona since 11 years ago, so I have another Cuba that is a Cuba from outside Cuba. And they live in Cuba, so they have the Cuba from inside. And we're going to talk about our work as Cubans, as citizens of the world as well, because it's very important that artists are in the place that they are, and they express themselves in the place that they are, even when they come from other places. This is my personal opinion. I'm going to pass the mic to the rest.
Hello. The topic of today is art in pandemic time. And it's interesting because the governments use the pandemic time for more control, more around the world, no? But I live in Cuba. I live in Cuba, so the government make a long time of very high control above of us, because we are artists in Cuba, but our group create spaces in the community for workshops about society, about art, about journalism, about everything. But we are a group of artists outside to the Cuban system, because the Cuba have one party and have a lot of ministers, like Minister of Culture, of Education, of transport, of food, but all these institutions respond to the only party we have in Cuba. So when you are artist and you want to make something there, you need have a permission papers for work, and the only institution give these papers is the Ministry of Culture. And if your aesthetic, artistic, or your rights or your projection in the community is outside to the party, you are like a dissident. You don't have a paper for work. You don't have permission for play in any public space, in any radio, television, theater. So in 2009, the government expulsed our group outside to the all Cuban institution. In pandemic time, we want to make something in our home, like a WhatsApp, invite a few friends, and the government put the police patrol in front to my home. So this was our pandemic time in Cuba. Respect the art. So Wichy, talk something.
Well, in my case, I take the time of pandemic to produce more music. I'm prepared for when the COVID stopped. Have been more prepared, no, to do events, to do things. Now I'm here, and when I go out of Cuba, the Institute of Culture told me if I going to be more than 2 months out of Cuba, they put me out. So let's see what happens when I get back. But the thing is that I have a lot of plans to do in Cuba and out of Cuba too. So I'm prepared for that, because in the pandemic time, I produce a lot of music. I create collective of people in Cuba and out of Cuba. So that's my case.
Well, I live in Barcelona, and in pandemic, I was working a lot because for a living, I do like editing of sound, like recording voiceover with my husband. We have a home studio, so yeah.
See, I have to tell that this is not only for me. This is a general law for any artist that go out of Cuba. For more than 2 months, they put out of the Ministry of Culture. This is for everybody. It's not only for me. It's not only my case. It's for any artist or musician that go out more than 2 months. They put out of the
grid
of the
grid of the system. So in my case, I have been out of Cuba 11 years, but you are never out of your country. That's the point. For me, is you don't need to be out of a country to, you are a Cuban anywhere you are. That's my situation. I believe that the people in Cuba are listening, for example, they are listening my music. The people on the radio play the music when they can. The people this is what I know, no? So for me, it's like I believe in the art in everywhere, in any form, and the people having free speech. And what they are talking about is about not having free speech in a country, because it's controlled by all the speech, all the information is controlled by the government. It's national television, national radio, national everything. So yes, it's suffocating when you are an artist and when you want to talk about social issues, because they are your everyday life. So, for example, if I say I'm tired of this bullshit because I don't have food, because I go out and I cannot find what I'm looking for. I have family in Cuba, so I'm talking about something that I know. They cannot do that because, for example, in July 11, this last year, the people went out of the street just to say that they couldn't handle the situation anymore. They went out to express themselves. So we as artists, we do it every day. This is our way of living. We are painting, expressing, talking, and this is part of being an artist. And so they are taking that right from artists, from everyone. And this is why the conversation all the time is around not having a way to express themselves, feeling all the time tired, feeling all the time just suffocated by the system. I don't know if anyone has a solution, but for me, it's the time as well to change government in Cuba. That for me is the solution. But I'm one person. I believe that many people in Cuba think the same, but if you have only one party and you don't have, like you said in one song, I was listening to one song of yours that you were saying that you want everybody from any kind of way of thinking having the space in national television to express themselves. Anything about their body, about their way, their philosophy, you want the people to express themselves. So you have an inclusive country where everyone can express that is not harming anyone, because they are artists. They are not punching anybody. They are just expressing themselves. So me as an artist, I live in Barcelona. I have free speech. So I say whatever I want anytime. And it's good that I'm a Cuban that can do that. But I will love my people in Cuba to do that as well. So this space is good for the people to know that this is happening in Cuba, but also to see what the people in Cuba is doing. That is not only political as well, but because they make you be political when you are an artist and you want to talk about many different subjects. But it's like, it's the thing in your head. So
yes, I think I know a lot of groups in Cuba, dissidents groups. People talk about change the society, but I know the way of these people, how growth like dissidents. What happened? The people just want to make a proposition. It's not about politics. It's your proposition. We need to talk about rights. We need to talk about genre. Yeah, we need to talk about a lot of situation in our society. We need to talk about food, about human rights, about all that. And when somebody in Cuba in art or journalism or whatever want to make something new, when the people want to change something in the society, the Communist Party is like declare you like an enemy of a state, an enemy of the revolution. And this is the reality, because in the beginning, my lyrics in my music is about meditation, my travel inside me, about the universe, the stars, the galaxies. But I have a space in my home for meet a lot of different thinking people. And for that reason, we have a big problem with the government. So it's not about the lyrics. It's not about thinking. It's just about you are not part of the Communist Party. You are enemy of the revolution. I talk about that because my friends around the world, I travel a lot. And my friends around the world are fighting against his systems too. And my friends in Europe, in Latin America, in USA, have a problem with the system, with the matrix. But sometimes in other countries, the people look Cuba like, oh, beautiful solution, revolution, Fidel Castro, Che Guevara, free education, free medicine. And my presence here is for talk about that, because my grandma broke these bones, and when go to the hospital, don't have nothing for put there. So something like this to my grandma for go to home. And we have free medicine, free education, but my son is autistic. And in the school, is a lot of child like my son and have just one speech therapy, one teacher, just one for all school. And I want to pay a particular class in Cuba, but particular class in Cuba is illegal because you have free education, socialist education, and we have a friend in prison now because wanna teach something different to the sons. Wanna make education in home and really Cuba sounds like the revolution, all is beautiful, blah blah blah. But the realistic is a dictatorship. We have a few friends in prison now for talk, for make a video on YouTube, for walking the street with a cartel. And now it's for 1 year in prison, 2 years in prison. And this is the reality of my country. In the end, the door of my home and inside my home is peace, because in my family we practice love, peace, and happiness, and everything is good. But sometimes when I want to make a concert, invite my friends, the military and police and all these people front of my house. Sometimes I can go outside to my homes, so it's like a domiciliary prison. I am not a thief. In Cuba, I don't make anything illegal, so it's just for my thinking, and this is our reality today in Cuba. ¿Quieres decir algo ahí, mono?
Yes, I think it's an obsolete political situation in Cuba, and sometimes they want that when you are going to make like a concert or something, that you bring the lyrics that the people are going to sing or something, to say if they can do it or not. It's crazy, and the economy is shit. They try to fix it, but they always do it wrong, always wrong. So it's hard, but we are doing our thing there because I want to do it in Cuba too. I don't want to leave Cuba. I want to work there. For me, it's important, work for the Cuban people. But when you go out, you realize that we are very, very close. You know, it's something like this, trying to put you down. You know, they don't want that you express what you really think, trying to manipulate the way that you say the things in the TV. Is crazy.
I was thinking that I believe that anyone want to leave their land for the purpose of living outside their country. I think that everybody wants to travel the world, and it's like when you travel, you could see things, new ideas, and you can like put the ideas inside your country back again. That's what I believe. But when you have such a difficult way to go out of Cuba, then you said, you know what? I want to be free. This is the first thing that I want to do. I want to be free. It's just about that. It's not about the the economy and the pressure. Is something that goes against your freedom, because you want to be free of eating, you want to be free of saying, you want to be free of being, you want to be free of talking with people, to meeting people. And I think that the whole thing is about being free. And it's not about anything more. So what we are talking about is about people being free. And when they are looking in the lyrics, what they are looking is, if I say, for example, I'm going to say in English, but imagine that I'm singing in Spanish. I just want to be free. I just want to be free. I just want to be free. Yo lo que quiero es libertad. You know what that means in the middle of giving a concert? The policemen that sometimes they are younger than us and they don't even know anything. They come, oh God, they're going to kill us. We need to stop the people because they are saying the word freedom, and freedom is not a good word. So it's a matter of being in a crisis. Imagine the people that are responsible for supporting and taking care of society, that is the police and the state, that are for representing the people. They are trying to stop the people when the people are talking about freedom of speech, freedom of movement. Come on, guys, freedom of movement, freedom of being able to eat and decide in a country that we have fish around our country because we are an island. Do you eat fish in Cuba? No, because it's like at some point we were like out of the grid of the communism. And right now, the people is trying to find their way. They are trying to find the way to be free in Cuba. The people that cannot go out. So, I don't know. My solution is freedom. Coño, Carlito puro. My solution is freedom, and my solution is that everywhere where you go, talk about your freedom. It doesn't need to be a political statement, even when they try us to be all the time being political. It's just a way of being human. This is what I think.
Yeah, I think the freedom is like a hola, amor. Yasek Manzano, cabrón. I think the freedom is like it's beautiful, but it's like an abstract concept, because freedom need a name and second name. You need freedom of think, but this is your own problem. But when you talk about freedom of movement, sometimes you have the police from your house. So in so many countries, your freedom have more second names. You have freedom for speech, you have freedom for work. Maybe you don't have so many freedoms, but in Cuba, the only freedom I have is my own freedom in my mind, in myself. But I have a lot of problem with my freedom for meeting with my friends, my freedom for talk, for walk outside to my home. And the other day, Cuesta Murua, a big friend of mine, go to my home and visit me, and the police take Manuel Cuesta and me and go to the police station, because you can meet, you can make. So for me, the freedom is important, but freedom is it's abstract concept for me now. It's more a war, it's more a search, it's not a possession. I feel the same with the love and friendship and all that, but this is not the topic of this conference. So I want to introduce Yasek Manzano. Yasek Manzano is one of the biggest brass players, no? Trumpeter, sí. He's one of the best for me around the world. For me, yes, bro. And I want to introduce you. We are talking about art in pandemic time, and we speak about, bueno, the system of culture in Cuba and all everything, ideas. So,
yeah, I see. So, sorry for being late. Sorry for being late, but I'm trying to get used to the city. It's my first time in Germany, and I'm pretty excited because this is a place I wanted to come from a very long time ago. This is a place where, I mean, a lot of great jazz players and brass players, especially classical players, I know and I follow, and I have learned so much, you know, searching in the social media about, you know, Matthias Hoff, which is one of my favorite classical trumpet players, and some others. So in the pandemic time, I'm gonna be kind of brief. I was I was very centered into learning new things. I'm basically a trumpet player. I was very lucky to study in a very prestigious school, Juilliard School in New York, for 2 years. And it changed my life, you know, when I had this opportunity to study outside of my country. And it was in the time that I almost lost this opportunity because it was when the towers went down. Then they break, yeah, the explosion, all these crazy things that were happening in 2000, around 1911. Then in 2000, I had the opportunity to, I mean, all my papers, all my working paper went to the embassy, to the interest office, and they gave me the visa, a visit, kind of like tourist visa first. And that's how I could get, I had the opportunity to go to US, go to Juilliard, go to Berklee School of Music, do the audition. Yes, I was so lucky. I was accepted in both. I have scholarship in both schools, but I decided to go to New York. It was kind of like a wrong decision because I'd rather be at Berklee for, you know, like a more open approach of music, but it was still what was worth for me because I learned so much from people like Wynton Marsalis and people like Joe Lovano, Brad McDowell, or I mean, all this stuff, all the great top jazz players. So I have wonderful improvisation classes and composition, everything. So it changed my life. Besides, in Cuba, we have a very high level of musicians. I mean, not because I'm Cuban, I'm very proud of the level that we have. And we are people that, the way we learn music in Cuba, that's very interesting. The way we learn is by transcribing solos, passing information through the bodies, just catching up what people listened, and share. And that's how I start learning jazz when I was very young. So in the pandemic, I decided to focus myself into technique, brass technique. So that's when I say I'm very lucky to be in Germany, because I was listening to a lot of great German trumpet players, amazing. So part of the technique that I changed, part of the things that I outdate in my technique, I took it from those guys. Some others from Europe, from US, of course, some great players. So we were lucky because we have data. Now we have internet in our phones, something that came very late in Cuba, very, very late. I mean, it's been like that like maybe 2 or 3 years, something like that. It's just very short time. No, a little bit more, right? Yeah, maybe like 6 years. All right. But the Wi-Fi, exactly, the internet now is even better. So we have 4G, sort of 4G gigabytes of frequency from data. And now, so we can check, and we can be more in touch with what was happening outside of Cuba. So I was just practicing. I learned euphonium. I learned French horn. I learned a little bit of trombone too, tuba. And I was lucky to find and buy those instruments in Cuba, in the black market, we could say. So I have my studio now. I have a little studio. It's full of brass instruments, all really rare and crazy instruments. I try to practice each instrument a little bit. The time is not enough, of course. But so I did this project called Cell Brass, which is me playing everything in lyres and recording the classics, like Baroque music, music from Bach, music from Vivaldi, and I did arrangement. So to play like in a small brass ensemble, like like a brass quintet, sestet, or so on. So basically, what I was trying to take the advantage of this time to learn, practice, learn everything I could, because what we have, we had a very very difficult time, but we were rich. We had time, a lot of time. So 2 years. So if you apply and you want to read, you want to learn, you want to research, you want to do anything, that's your time to do it. So it saved me. I could say I feel safe out of the COVID because I was focused and I was fighting for a new dream, which is learning new things. And you were saying something about freedom. I think in a way we can get disconnect. We can be undetached to systems, wherever they are, political systems, ideologies, religion, rules. Yeah, it's impossible. We have different systems everywhere. Even we have some good things in my country, there are some other bad things that we have to fight. But what we do, artists, is get freedom through imagination, through creation, through practicing, through each day keeping yourself going with discipline, composing, producing some new music, And sometimes, like the pandemic did for us, it gives us time for friends and family, which is something we can live without, right? So I guess freedom in this case, for me, if your body is your own home and you have to be flexible to adapt, to accept sometimes what you cannot change, but what you can do is improving yourself. So somehow pandemic, gave me this opportunity. So that's pretty much my story.
I don't know if you have questions because I was listening as well. This is just us talking between us and you guys, girls in this case, if you want to ask something, and boys, if you want to ask something to us, if we know, we can answer you back. Yeah, yeah, it's because we're going to be playing here and something gonna be happening, and we don't know what's gonna happen because it's gonna be a happening music. So if you want to stay and see the development of what we're gonna do.
Yes. ¿Y cuándo empieza eso? ¿A partir de qué hora?
No sé. No sé porque we are here. This is
Okay.
what's happening. This is happening. You're stopping. You're stopping. This is music, papi.
Sí, está. Ok, esto se acabó, ¿no?
Nosotros acabamos, nosotros somos así.